Hello, good evening, and welcome to the United Stand. My name's Levin2K. I'm joined by three amazing, beautiful, intelligent, and what's another nice word to use? I don't know. Someone will think of something. I'm here with three amazing people. We're here to discuss plenty, right? We have a game tomorrow in the Carabao Cup, and just plenty surrounding the club to discuss. So I'll start off with you, Kev. How are you doing today, man?
Very well, sir. How are you?
You know what? Nobody ever asked the host how they are. I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
I
No
like to
one's.
do that, mate. I don't want to leave you out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, it's good. I appreciate that. We got the one and only FIFA extraordinaire, one of the most wealthy, handsome ballers that I know. The one and only It's Haber. Oh my god, I just can't.
That's a great intro for you, mate. What? That's not me. How are you, Levin, mate? You all right?
Nobody asked you to ask me, man. Stop being a beg. Adam, we got the Adam Matic. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to big you up, mate. You just threw us under the bus by giving the comment section a chance to give us another name. And you all know that is very dangerous, especially at this time of night. But yeah, I'm all right, mate. Cheers. I'm happy to be here. Got plenty to discuss.
Yeah. Look, everyone. I hope everyone's happy to be. If you're not happy to be here, feel free to leave. But before you leave, I think it's important that we just talk about West Ham, because we obviously played them over the weekend. Sunday, it was I don't know, like there's no actual one word to describe the game. There was plenty of emotions I felt while watching it. I'm sure you guys felt the same. But the finish in particular was an exciting finish, right? You know, when you talk about Premier League and just football in general, you know, drama is a word that you want to throw in there. And there was plenty of drama to end that game. But we, of course, play them again tomorrow. And tomorrow is a bit of a different circumstance because it is a Carabao Cup game. You're probably going to see a lot of rotation. And from, you know, what Ollie's sort of come out with and said today, we're probably going to see a lot of rotation. So I do want to start and think, you know, how can we actually discuss all the players potentially coming into the squad tomorrow? And I thought, why not just go through each position? I'm going to ask you guys who you think should play there. And then we just sort of talk, right? You know, we'll talk about what rotation you guys would make. You know, the chat, I'm sure we'll throw in their names as well. But we'll start at the very top, right? We'll start at the very top, the striker position. I want to know, who would you guys play up front in tomorrow's game? We're assuming it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, the standard stuff, right? So we'll start with you, Kev. Who's playing up top for you tomorrow?
Well, for me, I've already done a bit of extensive research before the show because I'm such a model professional. But I would be going with Mason Greenwood up top.
Interesting. You know, tell me about, you know, you obviously want to see Greenwood. Yeah. I want you to elaborate.
Just basically the system that I'm playing, I think Greenwood, as strange as it seems, does need game time. I don't want to take this game too lightly tomorrow because at the end of the day, winning a trophy breeds confidence, and having a good cup run, as much as people take the mick out of it, it's the Carabao Cup, it's got free handles, it's not a proper cup and all this. It's still the first trophy of the season to be won, and it would be a huge trophy if Manchester United could win it, because it'd be the first one under Solskjaer. So for me, like I say, I'm not taking it lightly. There are some star names that I would rest tomorrow, but for the formation that I've done, which will come to light when I give you me sort of other players in a bit, I would go with Greenwood up top.
Fair enough. Adam, would you agree? Would you play Green up top, or would it be somebody else for you?
Yeah, do you know what? I would probably play Greenwood up top as well, simply because I think if we did have a bit of an injury crisis through his season, I think he would still be ahead of a Martial. If Martial's going to get into this team, for me, he'd probably be on the left when everyone's fit. I don't see Martial getting a berth up front anymore, so I think Greenwood's got a better chance of playing there. So if it gives him a little bit of confidence for a time when we may need him later on in the season as well, I think Greenwood has shown so far this season that he's very adaptable and has been our best forward since Ronaldo came in. So yeah, I'm with Kev on that one. I think Greenwood definitely. Is Cavani actually fit? I don't know if Cavani's fit, is he or not?
I don't think he is.
He's not ready, is he yet?
Nah, I don't think he is. The whole Cavani thing's weird.
Yeah, I think just off that, let's just nail it down and put Greenwood in there. No messing around. I think out of everyone, if you're going to rest quite a few players, he'd probably be the one I think could handle 2 games in a week more than anyone right now. I think perfect. Slot him in there at number 9. I think with expectation of West Ham making several changes, I think he could have a decent night.
Yeah. Haber, would you agree? Or, Adam obviously threw Martial's name into the mix. Is that someone maybe you would consider instead of Greenwood, and maybe play Greenwood elsewhere on the pitch, or is it Greenwood for you as well?
I want Ronaldo to start. I'll be honest with you. I want to see Ronaldo start, mate. We've signed the GOAT. We just play him in every game. I want to see Ronaldo start. Obviously, I don't think he'd play a full 90, but I do want to see him start because I think there are times in our attack where we still need to learn how to play with Ronaldo. And if he's going to be the man that scores as many goals as we hope he scores this season and we win trophies, I think we've still got to adjust to him up top. And although we can definitely rest him, I still want to see him start. I still want to see him play. If Ronaldo is definitely getting rested, though, then I'm in the same boat. Greenwood up top. He was in great form first few games of the season, so he definitely deserves that game time. If anyone deserves it, it's definitely Greenwood.
Yeah, I think Greenwood was in such great form, and I want to see him continue his goal scoring streak. It's definitely something to be excited about for us, right? Obviously, we've been linked with Haaland and other people next summer, but who knows? Maybe Greenwood will be at a stage where that isn't necessary. Now, I do want to actually go back and talk about Martial again, just because we mentioned him just a second ago. We're going to move over to the left wing position, and Martial is obviously someone that, Adam, you said if he was going to play, you'd play him off the left. Is that his future now at Manchester United? Is his future off the left? Is the number 9 dreams for Tony over in your eyes?
Yeah. Speaking of left, just a quick shout out to Wickham, who took the lead against City, which is always a nice thing to happen. But yeah, getting back to Martial, honestly, 11, mate, I do now think that with Ronaldo, with Cavani, and I've put Greenwood ahead of him as number 9 as well. I think Martial's best chance of getting into this team is on the left-hand side. I do fear for Martial. I didn't expect him to be the one that probably falls out of this forward line. I probably would have thought it would have been Jesse struggling for game time, but we all know when you take a chance and you do as well as you have done, like Jesse has so far this season, it starts to push Martial out even more. I do think he will start tomorrow, but I do think it will be 11 on the left-hand side, because I just think now, if he was to get into our Premier League team, he wouldn't get in as a striker. So if Ollie's got anything about him, I would have played Martial out on the left, because that's probably where his best chance of coming in at all this season. And the other game is for him as well. So I do think Martial has got a chance, unless he changes his shape, which I do not see Ollie ever doing. But I see Martial starting on the left, mate, definitely. I don't think he's got a chance of coming in the middle right now. I think his chance has gone. It's crazy to say it, but I still think he can do damage from the left still. I really do. I think he gets a bit more time on the ball there. It's not as rough and tumble with the centre-backs. And the way we're playing now with Bruno, a lot more crosses into the box. Ronaldo suits that a lot better. Cavani suits that a lot better. I think them two strikers are definitely more adaptable than Martial for a 9. And he's just going to have to really take his chance out on the left-hand side again, mate. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, Kevin, I see you sort of nodding your head there. From what you've seen of Martial and from what you view him as a player, do you think he's actually is probably better suited to being on the left, even if it wasn't for Ronaldo and other people coming in? And would he be your choice to play off the left tomorrow?
In the old notebook, I've got him on the left-hand side. I've put Tony Martial, left-hand side. I think, again, it's a great game to bring him into. He needs game time. I think this is a huge, huge season for Martial. When you take into consideration the fact that Sancho's come in, and just the fact of in them attacking areas, the amount of attacking talent we've got. And for me, if he thinks he's a number 9, Martial, it's fair enough. And if he aspires to be a great number 9, but we've just signed Ronaldo. We've got Cavani already, who will be coming back from injury soon. And them two players are head and shoulders above Martial. If he aspires to be the number 9, the man holding the ball up, scoring the goals, the man that you can rely on, I've never really seen that from Martial. But I've always said it on the United stand, left-hand side, I have got no problem with Martial. But again, huge season for Martial. And it's games like this. I don't want to see him coming in, toys getting thrown out the pram and stuff. It's West Ham Carabao Cup. I want to see him out there and staking a claim, thinking I want to be in that team against Villa come Saturday at 12:30. And that's the only way that Martial will be able to do it now, is to perform in games like this. And if he's given the chance to play, take your chance.
I think there's some fair points there. I'd ask you, Haber, right? You know, he obviously was always given criticism for not necessarily being the traditional type of number 9, right? That was always like sort of the one thing people would criticize him for. It's why people loved Cavani when he came in, right? That was always the one thing where people are, oh, with Cavani, we finally have like the traditional number 9 to do those sort of roles. Is Martial in the team for you on the left tomorrow and moving forward?
I think he will be. I don't know if I want him to be there or not. I think Martial he's bulked up to be a number 9. And I think his best game in a United shirt last season was against City because his hold-up play was great. And going forward, he showed a lot of strength going straight through the middle. And I think as a left-sided player now, cutting in, I think he can still do a job, but I don't know if he's going to be as agile, as good on the ball, as good as he was when he first joined us. I would prefer to see someone like Lingard start on the left. You know, if he's going to be getting game time off the bench in Premier League games, if he's going to be that man Ollie looks to change a game like he did at the weekend, I want to see Lingard getting a bit more game time in these kind of fixtures. And if he's going to be coming on as a winger, like we saw against West Ham, I want to see him start there. I want to see him kind of, you know, progress in that role rather than play Martial on the left wing when all sort of every instinct I've got is pointing towards Martial being sort of a number 9. That's sort of the way he's molded himself, I feel, for the last year to 2 years in the United shirt. So, yeah, for me, I think he will start at the left wing, but I would like to see Lingard start there over Martial.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Lingard because I personally think Lingard's going to be playing at number 10, right? I think he's probably going to start at number 10 tomorrow. I'm guessing that's who you probably think is now as well, if Martial's going to be off the left.
I think Lingard, if Martial starts on the left, then I think Lingard will start in the middle. But personally, I'd like to see Lingard on the left, Van der Beek in the middle, and Sancho on the right. Because when I've seen towards the back end of the game against West Ham, when we were trying to hold the ball, especially right after the penalty, but there were a few instances I saw some nice link up with Sancho and Lingard with kind of one-touch passing. They were trying to progress up that left side. And with Van der Beek and the way he plays, I think that front three, obviously without the number 9, but the sort of left, right, in the middle could link up really well with Van der Beek, Lingard, and Sancho. And then obviously if we got Greenwood or Martial in number 9, then we can create some chances. I'd like to see those three start together, but I think it'd probably likely be Martial on the left, Lingard number 10, Sancho on the right, and maybe Van der Beek in the pivot.
Okay. It's interesting you mentioned Van der Beek as well, because I think there's going to be plenty to discuss about him, as there always is.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You did, but you can't. How could you can't help it, right? We all get excited about Van der Beek. Kev, would you be playing Lingard at number 10 as well, or do you sort of agree with Haber there, where it's like, actually, maybe I want to see someone else coming at that number 10 position, specifically Van der Beek, because his relationship in the more advanced areas with some of the players around him could be interesting to watch.
Well, I've gone with Lingard in mine. I mean, I said Greenwood up top, Martial on the left, Lingard is a number 10 because I think I would rest Bruno. I wouldn't bother with him in that game. And for the pure reason, Lingard, listen, he deserves it after Sunday. To come on in that game. And listen, it was emotional for him or whatever. He played for West Ham for a bit, and I know he showed him some kind of respect by not celebrating and stuff, and that was his decision to do. But he's earned that and it's testament to Solskjaer as well for bringing Lingard into that situation. But it was a tough week for Lingard when you consider what happened in the Champions League. Took a lot of stick. You get the old trolls out, social media, this, that. But I think it just capped off a very interesting week more than anything, because a lot of what we've said on the United Stand about Lingard, I think me and Adam were in agreement, was he doesn't get anywhere near this team. What we meant is probably starting-wise in the starting 11, but he's come into that game, influenced it, won us the game, scored the winning goal, and I think he fully deserves to start that game tomorrow. So I would stick him in the number 10.
Well, you were in agreement with Kevin before, Adam, on Lingard. Are you still in agreement in terms of him starting tomorrow at number 10 and even his role moving forward in the team?
Yeah, I think we all know Lingard only really came back onto the scene or onto anyone's radar at West Ham because he played in 10. I just think he's pointless out on the wing. I really do. Lingard needs a free role. For him to fit into this team, like Kev just mentioned, then it is off the bench whenever he can as an impact player. I really do think that's his only chance in an England team as well. I don't see him starting for England. So if he has learned, and he's learning from the best in Ole, saying, look, you could be part of something special. I'm guessing this is exactly how Ole put it to him, by the way.
Yeah.
You could be part of something very special here, because I've done it off the bench and felt like an absolute legend. This is Ole's. This is Lingard's place in this team for me. It is off the bench, but I do feel like him coming on and picking out holes in the team when they're tiring later on in the game, he could be lethal, like he was against West Ham, like he was against Newcastle. He's done. Let's not forget, he's got 2 Premier League goals now, same as the whole Arsenal team, by the way. And he is absolutely lethal when he's up against a tiring defence. He finds the space, he finds them pockets, and you can't pick him up. He hasn't got blistering pace, but he's very, very clever in them little areas. And you've seen it. He comes from left, he goes to right. Haver picks up on it then, his link-up play with Sancho. But it wasn't just with Sancho as well. It was on the other side as well. And for Matic to find that ball to him was him just drifting central to wide. You can't pick him up. He has to have that free roll for me. That's where Lingard is lethal. And it's hard to put that in to a disciplined starting lineup in a Premier League game, in my opinion. I don't think you can necessarily do it from the start of a game. I think Lingard is going to be an impact player. And I actually do think he's accepted his role in this season. I do really think he's accepted it. And in a way, you have to give him credit. It's like, do I want to be part of this Manchester United project right now, or do I want to be number 1 at West Ham? He's made his decision. This is the way forward. I do feel it is detriment to the likes of Martial, because we've not even mentioned Rashford coming back yet. Lingard and Martial are both going to be behind Rashford. Whether you like Rashford or not, we know what Ollie's like. He's going to do that. So I think Lingard knows the strength of this squad. I think he's accepted it. It's whether or not players like Martial are willing to accept it like Lingard is at the stage Martial is in his career. That's the balancing act that Ollie's got to play this season. But I do think Lingard is a brilliant number 10, especially on games like this, to rest Bruno up. And that's where I think he will play. I'm in agreement with Kev there. I think even Haver said it then. It was like he is going to play through that central role just off the front, isn't it? I think that's his best position.
You talked about how, you feel like he's probably happy with that role. Do you expect us to see any movement on the contract situation? Because it was something that I wanted to sort of bring up and just linger on this for a second, because Lingard's future is something that's in discussion at the moment. Of course, the club offered him a contract proposal. He rejected that first proposal. There were talks coming out today from different sources, basically citing the fact that he wants to be assured he's going to be playing, regular football. And, like you sort of alluded to, Adam, I think he's probably wise enough to know regular football for him at United isn't going to be starting, but this sort of impact sub role could be something he's happy with. Do you think he is going to now sign the contract anytime soon?
I do think he's going to sign it, mate. I really do. I think even he knows the quality of player that's in front of him. Like you said then, mate, he's not stupid. You know what I mean? He's been around now. He's seen enough, and he knows what's there in this squad. I mean, he idolises Ronaldo. He knows that Ronaldo now is pushing other players back out of position that he's got to contend with, who he couldn't get past before. Because let's not forget, Ollie didn't pick him for the whole first half of the season. Well, he was fit and available last season. So it's that move to West Ham has pretty much rejuvenated his whole career. And I think he's probably had words with Ollie, and Ollie said, look, there will be a contract on the table for you if you want to stay at Manchester United. And this is your role. I do think he will sign that contract, mate. I really do.
Haber. My friend.
11.
Are you? Oh, I'm not your friend or anything. Like, no, you're not going to add my friend as well. Okay.
You already.
No, it's fine. I don't want to be a friend anymore. I don't want to be a friend anyway. You sort of said you'd rather play Lingard off the left, and you said already you'd want Van der Beek to play as a number 10. In regards to sort of what these guys have said in terms of that impact role that he has, do you sort of agree that probably is the best role for him, or are you still not sold on Lingard and you think, I would have rather him have moved on in the summer and give that opportunity to the likes of Van der Beek and others?
No, I do think that I see it as Ollie is the perfect man to convince somebody to be that role. I think if you look at Ollie, like he was that guy, and I think it's a good package for Lingard because he gets to come on, score a late goal, and be the hero. And I think he seems like he's a very emotional person. When I see him, like with his posts and how he reacts to games, it seems like that would be perfect for him to come on, score a late goal, win the game for us. He's the hero. He's the man of the day. And I think with Ollie as the manager, there's no one better to convince Lingard to sign a new contract to be that guy than Ollie, because he was that guy. So I do think that Lingard will sign a new contract and will be our kind of our bench man that we bring on late in the game to kind of get a late goal to win a game. Do I want him to be that? I think he's a good man for the job. I would like to see other players get game time here and there, and I'm worried to see someone like Rashford come back and see what that does to the squad and who then doesn't get game time. Does that mean Greenwood's out of the squad? Will Sancho then get benched? Will Rashford even get straight into the squad? I think we've got a good problem, but a problem when Rashford comes back, because then we've got to decide, everyone's roles again with another player who is vital to the squad coming back. But no, I do think Lingard. I agree. I do think Lingard will sign a new contract, and I'm all for it, man. He's United through and through. Came through the youth. I'm all for it.
It's funny because there's one name I feel like we've found a way to mention every single one of our attacking players except for one person. Actually, no, we did mention him. Okay, not Juan Mata, but I was going to say Jadon Sancho, but you actually did mention Jadon Sancho. Off that right-hand side, I actually would like to see Sancho play and start off that right-hand side, get some more minutes under his boots and really continue to sort of try and integrate himself into the team and build up chemistry with some of the players in the squad. Would you guys play Sancho off the right again, or where are you sort of at with Sancho right now, Kev?
Yeah, right-hand side, mate. I've got him in there. I think I was disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing him in that Champions League game. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka had different ideas, and he had to make that change. Sancho was the fall guy, but just leading up to that, little bits of interplay, and I'm thinking this is the game for him. We want to see him crack on. I think it's going to take him, 4 or 5 games to find his stride at Manchester United, to link up with the likes of Ronaldo and that. But again, tomorrow, taking into consideration it's Carabao Cup, it's West Ham, which I think West Ham will make changes as well. Sancho, I would give a go on the right-hand side. But I've also heard a lot of people saying that he played, his best football at Borussia Dortmund on the left-hand side. But for what I've gone for, my tactics for tomorrow, Martial left, Sancho right.
Adam, it's funny because over the weekend, you were at the game, I was at the game as well. The one thing I noticed a lot in the first half is we attacked down the right-hand side quite a lot more than we usually do. A lot of our play was focused down that right-hand side, which is something we all sort of said we wanted more of. And when we brought Sancho in, that was sort of the thing, like, yes, we're going to finally do stuff on the right-hand side. Even though he wasn't there on the weekend, we did that quite a bit. Do you now want to see him sort of brought in if we are going to be attacking down the right-hand side? And would you start him tomorrow off that side?
Yeah, mate. I mean, the left-hand side is stacked, isn't it? I mean, Martial, Rashford coming back. I don't think we need Sancho on the left. And funny, Kev picked up on that there. I've noticed that as well, people. I think I listened to the radio the other day, and I think it was Trevor Sinclair saying his stats stack up better from him on the left. Let's not forget who was up front for Dortmund. For God's sake, if you're going to use stats and then throw Haaland into the equation, you can throw him in from bleeding everywhere. So forget the stats. We bought Sancho for the right wing. It's as simple as that. We don't need a left-sided player. Sancho, for me, if you're going to start and you've started a bit ropey, you want to find your feet, you want to start on your natural side, don't you? You want sort of that. You've got a better chance there. You feel more comfortable there. I just feel like he's that type of player that will benefit Ronaldo even more playing from the right, because I do think he is a player who will put that ball in, who will put that quality in. Whereas if you're cutting back and then you're cutting back on the left-hand side, and then you're crossing it in with the right, gives the defender a bit more chance to settle. I just think the early ball is a lot more dangerous. The defence aren't set, and that's what Ronaldo thrives on. If Ronaldo is going to play every single game of importance, which we know he will do, then you know what? You're going to have to accept that you cannot just rely on Ronaldo pulling magic out every single game. He's not going to be able to do it. So you need to build a team that works around your point. You know what I mean? Ronaldo is the point of the attack, and it has to be the best team around him that works for that, because I've seen Bruno put 2 balls in from the wing now. Funnily enough, both from the left. with his right, which kind of kills what I've just debated. But do you know what I mean? We've got left-footed players to do that. Bruno can do that from both sides. And we've seen how Ronaldo has thrived on decent ball into the box. Sometimes football is very simple. Quality ball into the box with a player like Ronaldo and his predatory instincts, it's just going to work wonders for me. And we've seen Sancho do this time and time again. We know what the guy's got. I'm not concerned. A quick note on the right-hand side, you did point it out, Levin, about us attacking down the right. Ricky was actually impressed with Greenwood at weekend, guys. So there's one for the scrapbook. Wow. I spoke with Ricky, and he was happy with Greenwood's performance. He thought he looked after the ball well. I've been telling him that for about 8 months that he's been doing that. But Ricky picked up on Greenwood's performance at weekend. He was quite impressed with it. So it's all looking good. Ricky's happy. And we have got options. We're putting balls in the box. No coincidence that in the last 2 games, Ronaldo has scored from 2 crosses from wide. And you know what? That just gives us another option. And when these players do find their feet, like Sancho and Rashford, to come back, you know what I mean? We've got so many options there. And Cavani's back up. It's not bad, but Sancho definitely on the right for me, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think when you look at Sancho, you know, we need him to get some more games in his boots. A lot of people start to turn on him. A lot of it's from rival fans, as you'll get. You know, we saw it with the likes of Havertz at Chelsea last season, and that, you know, people will just sort of turn on these youngsters, especially when they have big price tags. Hey, but do you have a message, right? You know, I'm assuming you like Sancho. If you don't like Sancho and you don't rate him, it's going to be awkward me saying this. But you have like a message to the people who are turning on Sancho, you know, something to inspire them to take it a bit easy on him.
Never give in. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit. I'd just say look at someone like Kai Havertz. I mean, Kai Havertz came in the Prem last year from the Bundesliga, and you know he didn't find his feet for the first few months, and he wasn't really getting into that Chelsea squad. And I just look at him, and I look at him now, and I see the quality that Kai Havertz puts up every week, and I just think it's the same sort of thing. Like, players coming from a league like the Bundesliga, they're going to take time to adapt in the Premier League. You just have to show him some patience. It's very clear he's a very good footballer. He's very young. He's one for the future. It's not someone coming in straight away and like Ronaldo and making an instant impact. It's someone for the future. We've got, outside of players like Ronaldo, Cavani, we've got quite a young team. You know, we've got the likes of Greenwood, Rashford, Sancho. We've got some young players there that I think our team is a team definitely for the future. You know, we want to win a title now, but in 3 or 4 years, we're going to have some elite players in that team. So I just have a bit of patience, man. There's no point getting on his back now. It's been, 4 or 5 games?
Yeah.
Can't really judge a player on 4 or 5 games, can you? Come on.
Yeah, true. And speaking of future, actually, Anthony Elanga's going to be in the squad for tomorrow, right? And so maybe he will make an appearance. Somebody I personally am incredibly excited for, because I feel like every opportunity he's had, he's shown off incredibly well. Yeah. Look, before we move on to the next part of the team, I saw someone in the chat saying no Goldbridge all day. Look, guys, if you want Mark Goldbridge on the show right now, get the video to 1,000 likes. So at 775 right now, get the video to 1,000 likes. I'll call him and I'll get him on the show. How about that? Like the video down below. I'm going to ask you guys about the pivot, right? The double pivot. It's something that we're always talking about when we're talking about our team. I think it's because, you know, it's been a bit of a weakness for us in terms of the way we play. I just want you guys to tell me who would be your double pivot for the game and why, and whether that pivot has longevity in the future as well. So I'll start with you, Kevin. What's your double pivot for this game against West Ham?
I don't even know whether this is a thing, so if it's never been said before, it's mine, but I'm going for McDonnie.
McDonnie.
That's McTominay and Donny.
we know.
I'm having it. I'm patenting it, right? That is
thanks for the explanation. Thanks. I needed it.
You having it? No.
That's one of them YouTube translate moments, isn't it? In the comment box, translate to English. McDonnie.
I'm telling you, it's going to become a thing. You heard it here first, right? McTominay has only just come back from injury, so McTominay for me is playing, because more long term, we all know this is the weakest part of our squad, is trying to get this position right. And Fred is not rested by any means. I'm resting Fred because he is dog shit and has been awful recently.
Yeah, he has.
I'm very rarely hard on players, right? But this man is really starting to get on my tits, man. I watched him at the weekend, and we are talking the basics. And I mean the real basics of football. I'm looking at Fred and thinking, this is disastrous, right? So he's not getting rested. He's just left out the squad altogether for me tomorrow. McTominay, like I say, needs game time. And Donny van der Beek, the biggest mystery at Manchester United. We don't understand what he's done, what he said, how he's pissed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer off. But he's got to get in tomorrow. And none of this taking him off at half-time. And just let the lad have 90 minutes of football, for God's sake.
Someone on the morning show said, do you think Donny's a hard Ollie? He said, do you think he's been a hard? And if you know what that means, yeah, I won't go into detail. Adam, what would your pivot be? Would you go with the McDonald's? It sounds pretty tasty to me. Would you go with the McDonald's, or you go with something else?
McDonald's just got a really nice ring to it. I see someone in the comments there just said, then it's like, I'm feeling hungry all of a sudden. It's got down. It's good. Oh, jokes, man. I tell you, in all seriousness,
it's like doner meat in a burger.
Yeah, like, it actually sounds really nice. Like,
it's actually ridiculous how I'm thinking of what types of meat are actually going in it right now. It is. I'm recipeing it up right now in my head. But yeah, in terms of the recipe of Fred, yeah, that's on the quarantine list. That for me, Fred must go. He's definitely not in my team. Although if there was a game I'd want Fred to be playing in it, but these types of games, he should be out of the big games, to be honest.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So do you know what? There's a game I don't mind Fred playing in. It would be this one because normally I'd be thinking, oh, he's playing him because he's not playing him at weekend. But knowing Ole, he's just going to put Fred in the week, and then he's going to put him in again at the weekend. It's for me. I think it's going to be Matic and Donny. So I can't put any Mac sauce into that combination, I'm afraid, like Kev has. But no, I do feel like it's going to be Matic and Donny. I think that worked really well in pre-season, as we've all talked about already. But I think he's just going to be resting up McFred now for every opportunity that he can, every big game. I do feel like he is going to play them against Villa. I do think Ollie would have already looked at the way that Aston Villa overrun Everton in the midfield at weekends. I know he's thinking in his head that he's going to need that energy there. So I do feel like the next two obvious candidates are Donny and Matic. We just need to see Donny get game time. We need to see him play 90 minutes. Like Kev said then, he spoiled... I remember Zaka spoiled it for Sancho, but he also spoiled it for Donny in what he did in the young boys game, because that screwed everything up. I think Donny's passing was at about 93% before he came off. I think that was put out there. But yeah, I'd just be happy to see Donny playing, to be fair. And I think Matic next to him is the best bet. I do think they did link up well in pre-season, and hopefully we'll see it again tomorrow.
Hey, but is that your pivot as well? You going with Donny and Matic, or you going with the McDonny?
I think Donny and Matic are the most likely. I'm all for a McDonny, mate. I'm on the agreement later on. I think Matic and Donny is the most likely one. Do you know what though? Like go rewind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like Lingard on the left, Donny at number 10, Sancho on the right. Matic and Hannibal. Let me throw that one out for you. I don't have a name for it, but
there's no cool name for that one, mate. But
no,
you're mixing two names. Yeah,
it'd get a bit technical. Look, it's interesting.
I'd like to see Hannibal, basically. I'd like to see Hannibal get a little bit of game time, even if he's right at the end. I would like to see Hannibal get some game time. I think in pre-season he had a couple of games where he came on. He looked pretty sharp, so I'd like to see him get a bit of game time. It'd be nice to see him on the pitch.
Well, it's actually interesting you say that, because I saw on Twitter right before the show, there's an under-21 game or something, and Hannibal isn't in the squad. So somebody was like, oh, is he going to make an appearance tomorrow? And he has actually been playing, I believe, in like a deeper midfield role for the academy team. So maybe that is something for the future. Maybe that's even something that we'll see tomorrow. Who knows? I want to apologize to people. I did check my phone. I actually don't have Mark's number. So I can get Mark's number from somebody. If we get to 1.5k likes, I will ask somebody for Mark's number and I'll give him a ring and we'll get him on the show for tonight. So just get to we're at 1.1k now, 1.5k, and I'll be able to call Mark. Now, moving forward, moving deeper and deeper into the squad. I think these ones probably get a bit easier. Oh, what's wrong?
No, you scared me going deeper into the squad. I just didn't want you to say the name.
Okay. Look. We'll get away from that. The left back position. Who do you guys want to see at left back? I think this is an easy one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We always heard Ollie speak. Literally today, I think he came out and said Tellers will be back. And the way he spoke essentially, meant that, probably going to see Tellers tomorrow. I'd love to see Tellers. Obviously, he got injured during preseason. I'm guessing a lot of you guys are the same. I'll let you guys, talk about Tellers a bit, what you're looking forward to seeing from him. Because of Luke Shaw and how good he was last season, we didn't actually get to see much of Tellers. Would you guys be interested in seeing Tellers moving forward have a bit of a better role, Adam?
Yeah, man. I think Tellers has to take some of the credit for Luke Shaw being so good, because we've seen what competition does for players, and it definitely took Luke Shaw to the next level, in my opinion. I think he's seen what he needed to do. He did it and some. And Tellers was a big part of that. Let's not forget, this was a full-blown captain of his team, international, that Shaw has just sat down, basically. And he's had to play Roberto Carlos style football to put Tellers on the bench. That's how good Shaw's had to be to keep him out. So, you know what? It's the depth in squad that we've all been crying out for, mate. We're happy to Luke Shaw, but none of us are really worried with Tellers coming in. It's a good place to be. It really is, because I'm looking forward to Tellers. And you know what? A lot of people have said Tellers' his delivery into the box will help us going forward. Luke Shaw's even improved in that since Tellers has come in. His assists have just started to go through the roof. So, yeah, great for Tellers to come in. Do I expect him to dislodge Phil? Oh, God, no.
Phil?
Do I expect stupid super chat put me off? I don't expect him to take Luke Shaw out of the team, but if there's one man that deserves a spot in a game like this for his patience, I do think it's Tellers. I'm really looking forward to seeing him getting some game time, because he is a really good player, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
So I can't get it for Phil. Anyway, look. Kev, are you going to Tellers off the left? Are you excited about Tellers being back in the squad now?
Yeah, I'd Tellers in. I think he deserves a chance. More probably as well to do with the fact of giving Luke Shaw a rest. But it's funny that Adam should say that, because I remember when just after United signed Tellers, and I was talking to a mate of mine about halfway through that season, and I said, United's most important signing this season has been Tellers. And he's like, what are you on about? Tellers, you're not even fucking playing. So I said, exactly. And that's because Luke Shaw is now keeping him out of the team, because he's upped his game, exactly what Adam was saying. And that was the point I was making to him. So if he's watching, he'll remember that anyway. But yeah, Alex Tellers definitely gets a start. And more again to do with the fact that Luke Shaw, give the man a rest.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I was going to try and go the whole show without mentioning something FIFA related. But, I'm a FIFA fan sometimes. And Tellers was always, my guy on FIFA, was so good on FIFA. But, he's got a bit of a downgrade this year. Is Tellers still your guy on FIFA and off FIFA?
This is a football show, mate. like, if you get your football knowledge from FIFA, then that's you, right?
I'm trying to integrate you from the FIFA world to the football world.
I haven't used them yet, mate. So I wouldn't be able to tell you.
You're not an EA game changer like me, darn it.
Game's not out yet, mate. Game's out tomorrow.
For you.
Do you know what? It would. I'd love to see Tellers play, but I want to see Tellers play with Ronaldo up top, because Tellers' delivery is delicious, mate. It's fantastic. Sorry, I'm thinking of McDonough again. His delivery is so good, and with someone like Ronaldo up top, I just think that they'd be amazing. Obviously, Luke Shaw's improved his delivery massively in the last year, and he's just improved massively as a player in the last year. But I would like to see Tellers with Ronaldo up top, maybe overlapping, putting some balls in the box. I'd love to see it, because he is a great player, and in some of the glimpses we saw, he had some decent games, I felt like, last year in the cup, obviously against a lower tier opponent, but he had a couple of decent games. I thought he was all right played against PSG, didn't he? We played a sort of 3-back with him as a wing back, and I thought he had a decent game then as well. So
that was his first game, I think, wasn't it? That.
Yeah, I think so. And I liked him then. So I want to see Telles get more minutes.
Well, somebody who, we talked about how Telles has provided great competition for sure, and he's upped his level. Somebody who we obviously want to, hopefully up the level of Wan-Bissaka off the right is Diogo Dalot. And with him going to be playing games in the Champions League for us, he's got to start getting integrated into the team, right, and playing, minutes. Or you'd assume he'd start to get some minutes before he actually plays in the Champions League. Would Diogo Dalot be your choice off the right-hand side, Haber? I'll stay with you on that one.
It makes sense. However, I said it last time I was on the show. I want Wan-Bissaka and Sancho to play more games together to kind of build a partnership on that right-hand side. Thought Wan-Bissaka was really good against West Ham. And I want to see those two kind of develop more chemistry on that right-hand side moving forward. This might not be the game to do it, but like you said, Wan-Bissaka, is he out for 3 games now in the Champions League? Is it the same as,
yeah.
So we don't get Wan-Bissaka link up with Sancho for 3 games in the Champions League. Maybe he does play games because we know for sure that Dalot's playing in the Champions League anyway. Maybe he does play a cup game or 2. But I want to see Wan-Bissaka link up with Sancho. I like Dalot, but I think we need to build something now because we're changing. We've got Greenwood on the right, we've got Sancho on the right. It's all a bit. I don't know. It just changed a bit too much.
Fair enough. Adam, would you agree that we need to almost prioritize building a relationship off that right-hand side, or would you like to see Dalot get integrated since he will be playing in some big games for us?
Yeah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the weak link in our defence for me right now, but that's literally only because he's coming and playing alongside some quality players there. Now we just mentioned Luke Shaw. Haber is right in terms of the link-up. The problem we've got is that only works if Sancho stays out on the right, and with the chopping and changing, you're like, is there any point in trying to talk up a partnership down the right-hand side if it's never going to be the same one at the top? Because we know at the back, Ollie's only too happy to play Wan-Bissaka all the way through. The only reason we're talking about this is because of his stupid red card and him missing games. Can Ollie really afford to throw Dalot into a game cold with not having any games before it? Do you know what I mean? Because the Champions League games are important now because of the crap start we've had. So really, can we afford to throw one player in who hasn't played or started a game all season? No, we can't. He needs time to integrate. I thought he would have played him against West Ham personally, but Wan-Bissaka did have a better game against West Ham. He was right on that, and it worked for us on the day. So for that reason, I do expect Dalot to come straight into the team tomorrow night. He needs to play games. He really does. Is he good enough just to come into a game alongside Maguire and Varane and play well? We just don't know because the guy's not played enough. And these are the questions that Ollie has to answer, really, because only he knows if Dalot is ready to come into a big game in the Champions League. Tomorrow night, I think it's an easy one for him. I do think after the exertions of West Ham and the emotion of the game, I do feel like it's a perfect opportunity to rest pretty much the whole back four, because we know West Ham have pretty much thrown all their eggs into the Europa League and Premier League basket. They will be making just as many changes. I can't see David Moyes going full strength tomorrow. Definitely not. So I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring Dalot in as well, mate.
Kev, would you agree? Is Dalot your guy for tomorrow? Did you feel like Wan-Bissaka is starting to sort of get better off that right-hand side? We've talked about, how he does need to improve, especially going forward. And Dalot, that's one of Dalot's biggest strengths, his ability to go forward. Is he your guy for tomorrow?
I think he would be. Well, again, I had him on my team sheet, and it's purely to do with the fact that Adam's right, Wan-Bissaka was definitely better on Sunday against West Ham, but probably one of my main criticisms of Wan-Bissaka has been getting forward. And I think that's probably why we struggle down the right-hand side sometimes. And the thing that interests me tomorrow night, thinking if Dalot comes in and he does start with Sancho on the right, one thing for sure is that Dalot's going to be bombing down that right wing. So, Sancho and Dalot will be able to double up in the further sort of end of the pitch. But again, it's the double-edged sword, isn't it? It's because Wan-Bissaka's better at defending than he is attacking, and Dalot's better at attacking than he is defending. But saying that, I would have gone with Maguire and Varane as the centre-back pairing for tomorrow night, purely based on the fact that I want that, basically the good vibes between them two to continue and to blossom into a great partnership. I wouldn't break that up and bring in Lindelof or someone that's going to make you a bit uneasy and smash that partnership up. I would like to continue with that. And I think you would probably get away with playing Dalot on the right tomorrow if you've got them two at centre-back. So I would definitely go with Dalot.
Well, like Keith on Bridge in chat says, I go with whatever Lord Kev says. So that's something to think about. It's funny because you mentioned the centre-back partnership, and that's sort of what we were getting onto next. What would you guys go with as your centre-back partnership? I think I've seen a lot of people floating, Lindelof and Bailly's names in there. Of course, there is he who shall not be named, who Ollie said is, been making good progress against the under-23s. Would you guys switch it up from Varane and Maguire, or would you sort of stick with that to continue sort of the great chemistry they've shown? Kev saying that he'd stick with it. Adam, would you rotate, or would you stick with McGann?
You've got to. You know what? Sooner or later, you've got the Swedish captain sat on the bench, and you've got Eric Bailly, who's just signed a new deal. And if he don't play in this game, he's never, ever, ever going to play a game. So what is the point in him? Do you know what I mean? He's just not going to ever play, is there? Because he's behind Lindelof, and we've got two players there who I'm really happy with. I've got really good injury records in Maguire and Varane. So I can't see them ever coming out for a Premier League game. I think Ole pretty much shit the bed in putting Lindelof in that first Champions League game, dropping Varane. So I don't see him doing that now with added pressure on the situation either. So I think for the sake of him doing absolutely nothing this season, has to come in to the team, because I can't think of a game where he's going to play. I'm trying to think like Ollie right now. I understand what Kev said. I thought that's what he would have done against young boys, because Champions League is the biggest competition in the world. So no matter who you play in, you play a strong team. I didn't see the point in dropping Varane. I really didn't. And I don't think he's going to play him both. I know he likes to play Maguire every game, doesn't he? He really likes to play Maguire. He's like him and Bruno played near enough every single game last season. So I just feel like he has got too many options not to play Bailly right now. And I do think he will get a game. I think it'll be Bailly and Lindelof. I really do. And no one else.
No one else, he says. Specifically, no one else. Well, Haber, is it going to be, Bailly and Lindelof, I keep trying to say it, McGann, or will no one else get involved, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. Varane, Phil Jones. Let Varane learn from a master.
God.
Let Varane gain a bit of experience from a master of his trade. Whack Phil Jones in. If you ask me, Phil Jones can't do it with a straight face. I'm sorry.
Good job, you're joking.
Yeah. If you ask me, Phil Jones is an asset to this team, and I think that he would bring the experience.
The seriousness in his face there. You know what? You can see when Haber's trying to say that there, then all he's looking at is that compilation of Phil Jones' faces. And you can't keep a straight face, can you?
Oh, God.
I tried. I said I'd do it before, but I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'd like to see. I mean, Bailly should get some game time, because, like you say, where does he play? But I'd like to see Varane and Lindelof play together. I want to see what that looks like. I feel like we're going to get Maguire and Lindelof together in other games. I feel like we're going to get Maguire and Varane together, obviously, in most of our bigger games. But I'd like to see what that partnership looks like, because you never know, that could work. And then obviously Phil Jones half time, whack him on, and that's when we really stiffen up at the back and secure the win.
Yeah, can you picture the scenes in the changing room when Ole sits there and he goes to Eric Bailly, look, Phil Jones is starting ahead of you. And mate, the rage. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Ole saying to Eric Bailly, we're going to put Phil in front of you today. It's game over. There goes flush down the drain your United career in one fell swoop. I can't see him not starting by, but you know what? Nothing would surprise me. I'm sort of with the guys there. You know what? Any centre-back partnership would not surprise me tomorrow night.
I mean, hear me out. Joanne.
Joanne! Oh, that is nasty, man. That is really nasty. I can't believe I just heard that. Joanne. Oh, God. That I never want to see that ever again in my life. Well, look, I know he's not going to be at Phil Jones's testimonial, and it's Adam Matic. He will not be anywhere near Old Trafford. But
you know what? The best thing he said was he says it's pointless me having the testimonial because all that turn up would be my mum and dad. So that's you know what?
They wouldn't even turn up.
I'd turn up.
Do you know what? So it's not complete Phil Jones, and I said this off air. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't wish the injury record that Phil Jones has had on anyone. I really wouldn't. I think he's probably the most unluckiest player in the world in terms of his injuries. Like I said, though, it's not the injuries that I don't even think Ollie should be backing up him. He's unlucky with his injuries and whatnot. I just don't rate him as a player. I really don't. I'm still having nightmares of that game at Bramall Lane that was at when I seen Phil Jones get completely bullied by one of the most average front lines I've ever seen in my life. And it's not so much he's unlucky, he's just not good enough. It's as simple as that.
I have to ask you,
and there's better defenders in front of him. That's all I'm going to say.
I just have to ask you, can you name one other centre-back in world football that would have nodded a ball, being on the ground, headed the ball onto a player's foot, causing him to have a worse touch and the ball go out of play? Because that is Phil Jones for you, and that deserves a start in my eyes.
That there is that video and that little clip there is just Phil Jones all over. That and that one that someone made of him at the Wolves game in the slow motion. That's the classic Jonesy, that one, in it. But
he's hit back this week, hasn't he, at fans? He said he's
hit back at Rio. He's hit back at Rio, wasn't he?
That comment, I was reading my phone. I got a bit. I kind of thought it was about me because I put a few tweets out about Phil Jones through the years. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I've said that Phil Jones is shit. So when he said this little thing about his keyboard warriors in the bedroom, eating pot noodles and flat pets there, which is something that I've done before. I'm thinking, is Phil Jones on about me here? What, man? I took it personal, like. So.
Honestly, I was reading the thing. I was thinking, I didn't even say nothing rude about Phil Jones. What's he coming for me for, man? I can't eat my pot noodles. I can't eat them. Guys,
that's one thing you don't do, isn't it?
Yeah, he did. I think he did have a bit of a stinker there. Yeah, he's look. Okay, we'll move on to the goalkeeper situation, but I do need to update you guys. So that was Mark that just called me then, and he actually said if we don't hit 2K likes, he's not coming on the show tomorrow. So look, it's been one whole day without goal, which I know, crazy, but if we don't get 2K likes by the end of the video, he said he's not on tomorrow either. So that wasn't me. That was Mark himself. He said that to me. So you guys got to hit 2K likes or, it'll be another day without Goalbridge, unfortunately for you guys. Now, the goalkeeper situation, right? The goalkeeper situation is something we've got to talk about. Phil Jones has been playing under 23 games. He's been playing them with Dean Henderson behind him. Would Dean Henderson come and goal for you tomorrow against West Ham in the Carabao Cup? Or would you stick with Mighty Dave, who saved us on Sunday? I'll start with you, Kevin.
Everywhere you go, you always take De Gea with you. He's staying in the sticks for me, mate. His first penalty save after 5 years at the weekend. Confidence is high. It could be more or less a night off for him. If things go to plan in a game like that, he might not have much to do. You would like to think that. I would keep him in, keep the confidence going. For me, it's never been a debate, Henderson or De Gea. David De Gea is number one for me, and he would stay in net tomorrow.
I think that's fair.
Mic drop.
Mic drop right there. Adam, are you I did the sound effect, thank you. Are you going with De Gea and go tomorrow, or would you bring Dean in for this game?
Mate, everyone knows I've had loads of crap this weekend over my comments regarding De Gea. Obviously, at the start of the season, I won't hide from it, I was thinking Henderson was my number one. I did say that, like Kev said then, touched on it. I did say, though, that really what Ollie needs to do, we needed to sort out the goalkeeping situation early doors, go with one, stick with one. The goalkeeper should play every single game of a season, no matter what competition it is. He needs to stay in goal, and the chopping and changing, if he starts doing that, that's when I start to get worried. I really do, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when cohesion goals are missing. That's when the link up between the keeper and the defenders starts to get mixed up. When you don't know a goalkeeper's game and you don't know where he's going to be, or a goalkeeper doesn't know where his defenders naturally play, you've built up all that rapport and you've built up that relationship, then why change it? It has to be one or the other. And that's the decision. David Henderson, David De Gea put me firmly in my place at weekends, and I hold my hands up and say, Dave, I didn't think you had it in you. That 3 years of decline that you've just gone through, I do feel like at the start of this season, I'm seeing the goalkeeper that I thought was the best in the world 4 years ago, back in the sticks for United, though. I will admit that that is where I'm at right now with De Gea, and don't disrupt the rhythm, because we're getting the goalkeeper back to top form. And like you said, it's first save in 5 years against Mark Noble. Everyone watched my fan vlog after the game knows exactly what I thought about that. And you know what? Kev's right. I stick with De Gea, mate. I'm going all the way. Stay with it. Don't change it.
Haber, is it going to be 4 out of 4 with De Gea in goal, or are you going to be the one to change things up? Who are you going?
I agree. I mean, it's like Kev said. I mean, with Joanne at the back, I think it's going to be quite a quiet night for De Gea. So he won't have much to do. And to me, I just think that it's, you're keeping him fresh, you're keeping him warm. And I think obviously he's been at the club a long time. Jones been at the club a long time. They got on well together. It makes sense.
No, yeah, I think that's fair. I think all round, even though we disagreed on 1 or 2 positions, we basically agreed on most positions. And I think that would be a solid squad. I think all the squads we had would be solid squads that you would expect to go out and beat West Ham again, right? Because we obviously beat them on Sunday, and we're going to play them again. And like you sort of said earlier, Adam, realistically, it's going to be a rotated West Ham side as well, because they do have plenty of football to play. Moisey will be aware of that. In terms of the actual style of play, we've talked about personnel. In terms of the actual style of play, things that we did in the match, I want to just ask all of you guys if there was one particular thing that you want us to do more of next game against West Ham. So, so it's going to be a good time to actually, compare it, right? But is there anything in particular that you want us to do more of? For me personally, just the way we were incredibly aggressive down the right-hand side, especially in the first half, is something I want to see much more of in all of our games moving forward. I'll start with Kev. Is there something in particular that you saw, something you maybe didn't see that you want to see more of now moving forward when we play?
Just score loads of goals.
Keeping it simple, yeah.
Win.
No, sorry, I'm being facetious there. What I would like to do is take control of a game from kind of the first whistle. I was hoping we'd get that at West Ham at the weekend, and we go through these. I understand that games get played and it's back and forth, and you might have 5 or 10 minutes where you have a breather, and just looking back at the old days of how United, from that first whistle, used to set out and about, and sometimes games were finished by half-time. You could be 3-0 up at half-time, dead. There's no point coming out for the second half because United were that good. It'd be nice to get back to some kind of mentality of attacking football, but from the offset, go out, tomorrow, state your intention. We're the home team. None of this, but West Ham have got, 10 men behind the ball and all this. Well, it's up to us to go out there tomorrow, and we've got the team, the attacking talent. There should be no excuses. Loads of players fighting to get into this team, and we see where the journey will take us. But for me, it's more about just taking that from the first whistle, actually stating our intention to go for it and set the tone of the game. Coach
Adam, would you change anything? Would there be something in particular you'd want to see more of, or would you almost agree with Kevin and what he said?
Step by step, mate. I think I said it after the game against West Ham, and I watched Mark's breakdown later on. And the most encouraging thing was the fact that we got so many shots on target against West Ham, and they weren't stupid Stato shots on target. You know, them P-rollers that they class as shots.
Yeah.
You know what? Fabianski was working, and that was a difference for me. It was an improvement. Fabianski was the busier goalkeeper, and it was that creation that you've all touched on it, the wing play. Has two games in a row now we've scored goals from crosses, like I said. I want to see more of that. And I do think if we play like that, it gives us another option. Then we can start playing through the middle as well. But if we bring it out wide as well and use our width properly, then we can mix up our game. We're not one-dimensional. And I think that's where it was different against West Ham, because we came in from different angles. It was central, it was left, it was right. That's what we need to do more. We need to vary the attack. We do. We need to just go down different options, different avenues, and not be one-dimensional. So for me, that more of like West Ham, a little bit better in control possession for longer spells, I think works best. But I can't really ask for much more, but a little bit more improvement each game. Quick one on it. You could actually have 3 Ferguson signings starting the game tomorrow night as well, guys.
Oh, wow.
Crazy is that?
Don't say Phil Jones.
Well,
he has to be one of them.
Oh, yeah, he would have to be.
De Gea, Phil Jones, and Ronaldo. You could have 3 Ferguson signings starting the game tomorrow.
That's a great
Crazy
point.
Is
That's a brilliant point. Even after how many years, still heavily impacting our match day squad. Haber, I'm gonna come to you. Give it to me.
I just want to see. I mean, I feel like I'm going to regurgitate what Mark says a lot, but I just want to see a quicker tempo. I think the only thing that frustrates me a lot in the game is we slow the game down when we're not winning. I mean, if we're winning a game and we're comfortable, I don't mind slowing the game down. But if we're at 0-0 and it's clear that one thing I noticed from West Ham at the weekend, there was a nice counter attack. I think it was McTominay played the ball to Ronaldo. It's one of the first times I've seen McTominay just fire a ball out of his feet as soon as he gets it, instead of picking the ball up, taking about 8 touches, and then turning. He does this weird thing where he turns, and then he turns again, and then he turns again, and he did a full circle. I'm just, what are you doing, mate? I just want to see him. I want to see the team play some quick tempo football, 1 touch, 2 touch. I want us to actually look like a really, just a good team, a good football team, as opposed to a team that sometimes relies on 1 or 2 people to win the game for us.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. And I think if you're getting that, if it is a team full of almost the second string players and you are getting that, that will be sort of good to see, right? And that's almost really an assessment of, it's really encouraging. Exactly. Look, guys, I'm looking at the lights, so 1.7K, and Goldbridge, you heard what he told me on the phone, right? If we don't get 2K, nevertheless, you guys decided for that to happen. So look, it's been a great show. I've enjoyed it. I think we covered a lot there, being able to go through the team. I think we basically covered every single talking point that there was for tonight. Guys, where can the people find you? You guys have been brilliant. Some great points, some great banter, and Adam with some great statistics there. Adam, where can the people find you?
Yeah, find me at Adam Matic on all socials. Just look up Adam Matic of 30 and a 32 in there on some of them. I can't even remember half of them. You just forget, don't you? But yeah, that's me.
Well, international superstar, it's Habe. I'm sure they already know where to find you, but just remind them if they don't.
Just it's Habe everywhere, mate. Twitter, YouTube. I don't know where else. The socials, mate. The socials.
Yeah,
so humble.
The socials.
So humble. So humble. Yeah. Kev, where can they find you?
At Kevin Ashford 7 on the old Twitter and that, and on YouTube, Van Cam. Got my own cups and everything, man. Bought it myself.
The man with the van and a cam. Absolute legend. Well, yeah. Well, you can find me at 112K everywhere. And I'm like Haber, you keep it uniform so you don't forget. Adam, some fakes, 112K. Guys, once again, we appreciate you all for hanging out tonight. It's been a great night. Comment down below the lineup that you're expecting to see. Give some reasoning as well if you've got any interesting picks in there. Looking forward to the match tomorrow. I think we'll probably all be here tomorrow at some point. Either way, have a nice night.